Okay, let's start. When you log into TinkerCad, to create a new template, you click on the new design. Then it will show you the work plane. Simple work plane. It has the uh, like a mat for creating designs. The simple navigation. We have this cube on top here. We could rotate it. We could zoom in and zoom out. Uh, and that's it. So we could also use the keyboard uh, buttons. If I right click, I could rotate the viewport. If I click on the middle mouse button, I could pan the view around. So let's try creating a simple shape or a simple model. First, I'll put in a cylinder. I'll zoom it using the middle mouse wheel, pan it. Let's make this 3 millimeters in height. So there are multiple ways to resize the object placed on the work plane. You could either click on their nodes, or if their measurement comes up, you can click on it and just put in the required size. So here we have the work plane underneath our object. We can move the work plane anywhere we want. Let's say, for example, we want to move the work plane on top of our drawn object. There is this work plane uh, button here. You can click it, then click on top of the object. So our work plane now sits on top of the object. That means that whatever we draw now will be on top of this object or within the new work plane. So right now, let's try to draw a cone. So you just have to click on the shape, then move it to the work plane. Let's try to put it on the center. We could resize this. Let's say, for example, I want the height to be 11. Now let's try drawing a sphere. Let's put it also on top of the work plane, or yep, on top of the work plane. We could try centering it, but maybe we'll worry about that later. So right now we could try to resize the sphere to 18 by 18. So right here, if I click on a node, I could type on each side the size that I want to the size of that I want to put in. So now we have an 18 by 18 sphere. Then let's try to change the height, maybe around 5. You could also move the object by pressing on the arrow keys on the keyboard. So we could use that to center. Then let's try to draw another cone. Then let's change the height of this to 28 and the diameter to 14. So if I press on the shift key while I resize a node, it will have a constraint. So here, then let's move it to our object. If you want to lift the object, there's this arrow on top which you can just click and drag. Let's say we want to drag it upwards 3 millimeters. Then let's try to draw another cone, have its height to 19 and its radius to 12. Sorry, let's try to do the height again. That's 19. Then we could rotate the object. Let's try to rotate it 90 degrees. So to do that, there's this curved arrow on top. Just click it and drag. Then let's move it to our model and we could lift it. So don't worry at the moment if everything's not centered. We'll get around to that later. Then for the final shape, we'll draw another sphere, or maybe before that we could change the our work plane on top of the on top of the model, so we could do a sphere. When we do a sphere, it will be placed on top. Now let's try to shape to resize the sphere to an 8 by 8 ball. Let's move it in the center. Then there we have a sample chess piece. So before we proceed to anything, let's reset the work plane. So just click on the work plane, then click anything anywhere else, then it will set to the base work plane. Now as you can see, everything is not quite centered, so to easily do that, let's select all the objects. Then there's this alignment tool here, click on it. We want the object to be centered on each other, so we click the center nodes. So there, if we try to click the horizontal center line, it will center everything on itself, so I will not do that for now. So right now we have everything centered. We can then select everything again and then combine. So if it changed the color to one color, that means it has successfully combined every object. Now for this, we can try to if we're already happy with our drawing, we could try to export. And we have this we could export as SVG, so we could use later on a different 3D tool, or we could directly save it as STL, so we could put it on our 3D printer. So let's try to create a different drawing. Let's try to create a new design. For this, I'll try to draw a basic pickup truck. Excuse me. So first, I'll try to draw a box. So just click on the box. Then when you put it on the work plane, just click on it again. So right now, I'm gonna resize the length of the box to about, let's say, 60 or 80. Then I want to change the height to 10. So we have the base of our pickup truck. Then let's try to draw the canopy. Let's click on another box, put it on the plane. We could move around again using the right mouse button. Then using the arrow keys on our keyboard, we could just click on the left to move the object. There. So if we're happy with that, we can combine them. So select all the object, click on combine. So we now have one full object. Then we could probably start creating the wheel. So let's try to click on a cylinder, draw it on the plane. Let's try to rotate it 90 degrees. It's kind of like a wheel. Let's try to change the radius to maybe around 10. Then let's try to change the length to about 5. So we have a sample wheel here. Let's try to align it to the truck. So select objects, click on alignment. Then I want to align it first to the back of the truck. So let's do this. Sorry. Let's do this. Then align the wheel here. Oops, sorry about that. Now let's just move it. Now let's just move it by using the keyboard. As you can see, they are now next to each other. Maybe we could move it a little further so it's a free moving wheel. Then using the arrow keys, we could move it a little bit to the left. Then we want to duplicate this. There's a duplicate button here. Then using the arrow keys again, we could just move the wheel a little more to the left. So we now have two wheels. Let's try to select both of them for the other side. Click on one object, hold on shift, then click again on the other object. Click on duplicate again. Then using the right arrow keys, we can move our duplicated object to the other side of the truck. Now it looks like our truck is on the ground and it's not supported by the wheels, so we could lift this up, click on the object, then using the arrows up here we could move it, let's say about 3 millimeters up. Now let's try to work on the, I don't know what they call that, the pole or the axle. Let's try to draw another cylinder, rotate it 90 degrees. Let's resize this to at least around 2 millimeter. Then what I want to do is measure the length from this side to the other side, so I could just put in the axle there. So we have this ruler here. I can click on it and put it on the work plane. Then I could using this circle here, we could move it around. I want it next to the alignment of the wheel. Doesn't matter if it's attached to the truck, because what I want to do is measure here to here. So gonna click on the last object. I have here the size. The width is 27 plus 5 for the wheels. So I want it to go over 1 millimeter on each side. So that's 27 plus 5 is 32 plus 2 is 34. So click on our axle. I could put it in here 34. Let's try to color this differently, like green for example. Then I could see here I have the axle. If I try to put it alongside the truck, I could see that it is around 1 millimeter longer on each side. So what I want to do is have this axle centered on the wheel itself. So let me try to click on the axle, then on the wheel, then using the align, I would like to center it vertically and center it horizontally. Okay, but it kind of moves, so I'm gonna try to align it to the other side. So right now we have wheels on an axle, so let's try to duplicate the axle. Click outside, click on the axle, click on duplicate, move it via the left arrow key. There we have it. So what I want to do is combine the wheels and the axle. So let's try for the back first. Let's click on the axle, hold on shift, click on the two wheels, then combine them. Once they change color to a single color, you know that they are combined. So let's try it on the front. Click the axle, hold on shift, click on one wheel, click on the other wheel, then combine. So now we have a simple truck. If you want to have this printed in place, you will have to poke a hole between the truck block. Anyway, moving on, we want to have a container here. So let me draw a square again. Then to cut the recess here, I'll gonna change this box to a hole, then align it to our truck backside. Then I want to lift it up so it's not gonna poke a hole all through the container, just maybe above our axle here, there. Then I could change the size of the box, like 1 millimeter here, 1 millimeter here. Then let's try to increase the length until the end. Then what we can do is click on the truck and click on the hole, then combine them, and you will have your container at the back. Moving on, if you want a slight wedge here, so we could use this wedge tool. We could rotate it so that it is facing the other side, and rotate it again clockwise so that it's gonna be the one that we cut up from the truck. Then change it to a hole. When we click on this, it changes to a solid. When we click on the other one, it changes to a hole. Then let's put it on top of the truck. There. Let's move it up. Move it inside. We could use the align tool here, but it's much simpler for me to just eye it. So there. Then we combine the two. Click the object, click the hole, combine it. Now we have front of the canopy. If you want a curve shape, this much a little more complicated, so we draw a box. We have here the box tool or the object tool. We can change its radius, a little curve there. Then I would probably want to increase its length. Then make it a hole. Then create another box to cut. Bring it up. Then put it beside the hole. Like that. Then combine the two. So we now have a cutter here. So let's make this a hole. Then let's try to bring it to the truck. Let's try to bring it down a little. Sorry. Bring it down using this arrow here. Let's see if they are aligned correctly. A little more. There. So let's combine the two. There we have. Oops. Sorry. Let's move it a little more to the left. There. Then let's recombine. There you have a curved front now. So that's it for now. With this design, you could add a little more details by using shapes here on the shapes toolbox. We could also have different shapes to play with. And I guess that's it. Thank you for your time, and goodbye.